Welcome back, Seekers. The EIM have become increasingly more vicious, from the recent attack on the ESAF and civilians to the brazen assault of the Prosperity Square attack. Increasingly well armed and with swelling ranks, the Enunion Independence Militia is a growing threat on the battlefield to anyone in their path. Who are they, and what they intend is still a murky subject. So, today, in order to understand their motives and grievances, we are joined by a spokesman from the EIM via telephone. His voice has been disguised as a condition of the interview. Sir, this is the free voice of Enunion. Hello.
Hello.
Who are the EIM?
We are you. Enunions frustrated and furious that our land is used as a battleground for the nations of New Holland and Stormia to work out their aggression between each other. We have nothing to do with them. They should fight on their own soil, but no, they choose ours without our consent and do what they please with Lady Enunion. So, the sons of Enunion have banded together to defend their mother from the British thugs in the east and west.
So you'll fight against Stormia, even though they liberated us from the tyranny of New Holland?
Yes. Stormia gave us no liberation, only a fresh set of shackles. We will break the chains of any foreign power who seeks to use Enunion and her people for their own interests.
In that case, are those your goals, to eject Stormia?
Stormia, New Holland, the Assistance Force, any country that tries to intervene for any reason is not doing it for the sake of Enunion. They are doing it for control of the land and its citizens. They may hide behind pretenses of aid and assistance, but we do not need it. We are a strong, proud nation, and we can provide for ourselves. I say this as a message to all nations. Live in union. Just take your soldiers, take your workers, and leave. We shall look after ourselves.
Is this why you have decided to fight? To push out anyone not from our country?
Yes, to remove any foreign people, and any of those sympathetic or enabling of their continual occupation of the country. We do not want to harm the people of Enunion. They are the ones we took up arms for. But if their minds have been so tainted, so poisoned by the propaganda of the East and West interlopers, then we will have no other option than to remove them so that they cannot do harm to others by spreading lies and untruths.
Should you achieve this, will you allow the government to govern, or will you take power?
We will not allow the puppet government of Yossa to continue operation. We are the ones with the will to free Enunion, the ones with the plan for liberation and the courage to see it through. The EIM will take power and form a temporary government until the shock of such change has settled and the people organise a new parliament and hold elections.
And what of Yossa?
What did you repeat?
And what of Miss Yossa and the rest of the government officials? What becomes of them after your coup?
I want to make it very clear that we are not initiating a coup. We are overthrowing a tyrannical puppet government that lays itself down and opens its legs to the east. If the government resists, we will use equal force to stop them. If they surrender quietly, no harm will come of them. We are not monsters, and we are not without values. In fact, we are the only ones with the decency to stand up for the common man and represent them where they cannot. You should do the same with your publication, rather than whore yourself out with red deceptions.
I think we disagree on the nature of this outlet. And I would like to argue about that, but this interview is about you, not us. If that is your plan, your goal, then how do you intend to achieve it?
I think we should talk about you and the damage you are having on the people of this country.
At the end, how are you going to accomplish your goals?
An increase in operations. Our ranks are strong and our weapons are ready. We are a force for our enemies to fear and our allies to be proud of. We will increase the frequency and intensity of operations until it becomes impossible for either the NHDF, or the STG, or even the ESAF to remain, and they will have to flee along with all those who support them. That is how we will achieve our goals, with the might of our weapons and the strength of our hearts.
We have recently heard of a huge influx of weapons and fighters joining your ranks. Where did they come from?
From all across Enunion. The citizenry are rising up against those who bomb and shoot us. They're ready to fight back. The provinces that suffer the worst, the Delkar, the Sobor, and the Taluki, those who are already bathed and baptized by war, join our struggle every day to protect their homes, their families, and their neighbours. They are the heroes of Enunion, every man and woman standing up against the oppressor with courage and conviction.
Is that so? Because we've heard and seen evidence of international fighters, especially from the Royal Legion's Liberation Battalion from the still-smoking Iperda, being in your ranks during the massacre at Saloum.
I do not know where you received your information, but this is completely untrue. We have no fighters from Iperda amongst us, only Enunions.
We've also received very compelling information that these RLLB men have been teaching the EIM on recruitment of children and refugees through kidnap and indoctrination.
You have been misinformed by a snake trying to poison you. These stories are fabricated by the enemies of the EIM and are totally ungrounded in reality.
We have seen footage of the EIM with RLLB fighters kidnapping people.
Yes, I've seen these videos, and they are clearly produced by our detractors. You can easily tell that the people in the videos are actors from the unprofessional way they wear their colours and the manner in which they pretend to be in battle. Whoever directed them clearly had no idea what they were doing.
Your group was responsible for the recent Prosperity Square massacre. Why did you carry out this attack on innocent civilians?
I'll tell you this, we did not harm a single innocent civilian in that operation.
How can you possibly say that? We have all seen the videos of the bombs and the gunfire being used on the crowd.
If you would let me finish. Not a single innocent civilian was harmed in that operation because everybody there on that day was a traitor to Enunion and what she stood for.
You must be mad.
No, I am not. Look at who was there. An army of Stormians and a crowd of East sympathizers who followed them.
They were all unarmed. It doesn't matter what their politics were. It is a fact that you people murdered hundreds of unarmed people in a cowardly attack against those who could not defend themselves.
They were all armed with the lies to turn other citizens against the Union, to let Stormia take their land, fuck their wives and their daughters. If you have any love for Union, you would have done the same. You would have praised the men who carry out this operation despite the risk.
Despite the risk of attacking an unarmed crowd? Who are these men in the police flies? Where are they now?
These men are heroes of Union, and they are safe with their comrades.
And what of Saloum? Are these the same reasons for the further attacks on civilians? And then the ESAF? These civilians weren't even in parade to celebrate one side or the other. Why do you take such pleasure in killing your countrymen? In what way does the cold-blooded murder of civilians endear you to the population you purport to represent and protect?
Those people were protecting the ESAF. They allowed the base to be built there, helped its construction, they knew they were siding with the foreign powers. And I know that the true Unions who see these operations are proud of what we are doing and stand behind the EIM fully, hands on shoulders and voices cheering us on.
How dare you, sir? True Enunions stand for Enunion. You stand for total war and the feudal control over an oppressed people. You are between two mighty hammers, New Holland and Stormia, within a country full of the Stormian Protectorate, Enunion security, and an unsympathetic people injured by your hand. How can you possibly hope for victory in such conditions? Why bother even continuing to fight?
We know we will be victorious. We are the righteous fighters in this war, and we have the just cause, and the people know that. We have the cause, and we have the will to see this conflict out to its inevitable end in victory. You and your propaganda-spewing East sympathizing lies will have no part in this victory, no place in the glorious and free Union after we wrest her back from the clutches of New Holland and the bastard Stormia. All true Unions flock to us, and we welcome them with open arms. Together, our hands will build a better, brighter future for all of Union through toil and pride.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the reason for these madmen's campaign of terror and bloodshed. Stand behind the Protectorate and the STG True Enunions, and we shall watch from the shore as the storm dashes these wretches to pieces. We shall not let them seek refuge in our land.
That is quite the delusional hope you cling to. We will succeed. Perhaps you will finally understand this when we knock on your door.
And as for you, sir, I hope that in the moment of realization, before the man in the night with the red eyes pulls the trigger, you will understand the monstrousness of your actions. May God have mercy on you, sir, for the storm has no meaning of the word.